Student at a high school in Nevada was shot by a school officer after he refused to drop 2 knives, say authorities.
Earlier in the day, there was an altercation between 2 students on campus. At some point following that altercation, one student, a 14-year-old male, had armed himself with a knife.
We just hear a gunshot go off, and we didn't think much of it until we saw students running away.
What up, world? J Tuck here. It's another uncomfortable conversation. I want to have this conversation about this video. I wanted to do this. I had this in my draft for a minute now. When I first saw this video, I wanted to do this for a reason, because I know a lot of people feel like I'm biased against police officers, white folks, you know what I'm saying, borderline racist when it comes to certain things. And I wanted to show that, like, here's a white kid at a school who they say alleged was just an altercation with another kid. And, like, if anybody has ever been in a fight, they know, like, sometimes, like, you such enraged, like, you wig out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even when it's the principal, your teacher, resource officers, police officers are trying to break it up, like, you just won't stop. So, like, I understand and I feel for the guy, for the guy that's wigging out over there with this knife. But he does have, unfortunately, a deadly weapon in his hand. Like, can we all see that, like, this is a case of, like, the police officers, this kid can endanger another child that's walking past, that's trying to get past real quick, and he swings it. He could lose control of the knife, and when he lashes out at somebody and let it go and stab somebody. All of the above. So, like, I do feel like, rightfully so, the police officer shot this kid, unfortunately. I hate that it had to come to that. I feel like maybe they could have tased the kid. I don't know if they had tasers. Maybe somebody could have came behind them, but I don't think that, like, these cops were fully equipped for any tactical takedowns. Like, looking at this resource officer, he looks like he's, like, older and overweight. So, like, yeah, I don't know how effective that would be, but, like, I want to have the uncomfortable conversation of, like, not only do we have to worry about, as parents, the teachers and the type of influence the administrators and the teachers have on our children, but also I want to bring to light that there are other influences as well, meaning, like, our kids' peers and their friends can also influence our kids to act a certain way or be a certain type of way. Like, this kid, for all we know, could have been bullied and he just wigged out. And unfortunately, like, in order for the police officers to detain him, they had to, like, shoot him. This is a tragic moment, and, like, regardless of race, I feel like all children and all kids, like, none of them deserve any type of, like, brute force or retaliation. The only negative thing that I have to say about, like, the police officer and shooting this kid, I feel conflicted, because it's like, where was your taser, bro? Like, this is a white kid now. I want y'all to see that, like, I feel the same way for this kid as I would if it was any black kid, if it was a brown kid. Like, it's the fact that, like, he's our future. Like, regardless, he could be the next Bill Gates for real. You know what I'm saying? White privilege and all. Like, I still stand 10 toes down on, like, how I feel about white privilege, but, like, he could be the next Bill Gates or the next, you know what I'm saying, Donald Trump, as far as, like, the businessman, or the next president. Like, and the officer just offed him. Like, there's no other way, like, no other type of training that officer could have had. You know what I mean? This is another story that I want y'all opinion on. Like, am I wrong for feeling like for this kid? Because he did have a deadly weapon in his hand, but at the same time, like, we don't know this kid's story. You know what I'm saying? He could have been a kid that don't mess with nobody, off to himself, quiet, and then he just been getting picked on and picked on. Like, if anybody has ever, grown up in suburban area or public school system where, like, bullying and being bullied by what you wore or how you dressed or how you looked was a real thing, and parents couldn't help you. adults couldn't help you because they not holding your hand through every class. They not walking through them hallways with you. You know what I'm saying? I speak from different experiences when it comes to that. Like, I can attest to that. That's one thing that I be honest about, uncomfortable conversations. That's what this is for. Like, so that's why, like, I'm honest with my 14-year-old. You know what I'm saying? I ask him how his day at school is every day. You know what I'm saying? And make it known that he can come and talk to his dad. Like, let him know, like, look, I got your back. Like, don't feel like you alone in this. I, too, know what it feel like to go through certain things. He's had certain incidents he came to me about that he's never experienced, and he didn't know how to feel. And, like, every case is situational. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this is another situation where, like, maybe the parents in this kid's life could have maybe talked him through the bullying situation, or if that was even the case. Now, I'm speaking hypothetical, you know what I mean? But for this kid to just wig out, I've been in situations where I done wigged out. Now, I didn't have the cops like that, but, like, I done wigged out on anybody who want next, like, type stuff, and, like, really just getting into it with anybody who wanted that issue. And, like, being so frantic and enraged, sometimes that's how you feel. So, like, am I wrong? Let's have an uncomfortable conversation. Am I wrong for feeling for this kid, but also feeling like the cop was just in what he did? But in another sense, I also feel conflicted because I feel like the cop should have had a taser. They could have been fully equipped, especially when you're in a high school or in a school system. You should put resource officers in that school that are equipped or physically fit enough to be able to detain football players, basketball players, volleyball players, D1 athletes, different type of athletes. You get what I mean? Like, now I understand that with that mindset and with them type of officers is gonna come a different type of mindset. Like, we may not like the type of force that they use on our kids just in regular conversations or regular situations that don't need to be de-escalated in big fashions. So I think that might be a fear of putting like a military guy or special ops guy in every school or urban schools or something like that that can diffuse big situations. But they should at least be on standby or like have a few tactical officers deployed out in every city that can handle school systems like that when situations happen. Again, uncomfortable conversations. Thank y'all for listening. What do y'all think? Let's talk about it. Let's discuss. Here's a kid that was fatally shot, or you know what I'm saying, because he had a deadly weapon in his hand after being in an altercation with another kid. Don't know if he was bullied. Not sure this kid's situation, but I just know that he was a part of our future. He was the next generation, and you know, his life changed that day. So, like, who do you think is right? Who do you think is wrong? Let's have the uncomfortable conversation about, like, am I conflicted? Like, am I wrong for feeling like both ways? Am I wrong for, you know what I'm saying, having these same feelings regardless of race or regardless on, like, did he get what he deserved? You know what I mean? Like, some people may feel that way, but, like, he's still somebody's child. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's nephew, somebody's grandson. So, like, think about that before we, you know what I'm saying, hit these comments and start going in on this white boy. J Tuck, out.